the sun sets on a spectacular scene here in Santa Clara, the night is going to bring about a red-hot rematch. It's Tree against Troy, Stanford and USC in the Pac-12 championship, and it's overflowing with stars. Bryce Love is Stanford's record-setting Heisman hopeful. He's been gutsy and dynamic, and a 2,000-yard season could be coming. For the Trojans, the Golden Boys delivered. Sam Darnold sliced up Stanford's defense much earlier this year. Now he takes on the challenge of a greatly improved Cardinal team. The West Coast wonder of it all is set. A classic clash of power against athleticism. A title to be conquered, a crown to be claimed. Welcome to the 2017 Pac-12 Championship on ESPN, presented by Dr. Pepper. Good evening, everybody. Thrilled you're with us. Joe Tessitore and Todd Blackledge from Santa Clara. We'll say hello to Holly Rowe in just a moment. Well, Stanford just played 6 days ago. It was a tough game against Notre Dame, physical game. USC's had the last 2 weeks up. Got to spend Thanksgiving. Fresh, good legs. How do you see it?
Well, I think that's a factor. I really do, because I think USC now, even though they had to go all through training camp and 12 straight weeks without a break, that break came at a great time. The kids were able to get 4 days off over Thanksgiving, and it's not just the physical rest, it's the mental rest that really comes into play. It may not show up here early in the game. It's a cool night here, but the longer this game goes on into the fourth quarter, I think that extra rest is going to pay off for USC.
Of course, we got a Heisman contender here with Bryce Love. Been dealing with a high ankle sprain. That doesn't go away so easily. Been dealing with it since the second week of October. But he doesn't go away easily at all. He is the ultimate game changer.
He is unbelievable. I mean, he's nearing 2,000 yards, averaging an amazing 8.6 yards per carry. He has that game-breaking ability, but I think the thing that has inspired his teammates this year is his heart and his grit and his toughness, his ability to break tackles and to run even though he's in pain and less than 100% has been amazing. But when he gets green grass in front of him, there's still very few people in college football that can catch him.
On the other side is USC quarterback Sam Darnold. There were early season turnovers that may have slowed down the Heisman hype, but there are a few in the game that can do what he often does. What makes him so special?
Well, first of all, he's a winner. He's 19-3 as a starting quarterback, but his skill set is unique. He can throw out of the pocket on time. Watch him plant the back foot, go from the right side of the field to the left, and deliver a strike between two defenders. He also will show you the patience of throwing in the pocket, reading through his progressions, finding an open man, and a beautiful throw to the back of the end zone. But it's when he gets out of the pocket that the wow factor really kicks in for Sam Darnold. That's when he is special. He has an uncanny ability to throw the ball with tremendous accuracy when he's moving around and his body's going in a lot of different directions. He's elusive, his eyes stay downfield, and he throws exceptionally well on the move.
Only 20 years old, but such command. Sam Darnold, there he is from San Clemente High School. Of course, as much as last year's Rose Bowl Classic against Penn State meant to them, this is what it's all about for USC. Claiming championships as the Trojans have arrived. A defense that leads the nation in sacks, an offense that's been toasting opponents, especially with the running back Ronald Jones. For more, here's Holly.
Well, at the end of last year, the USC coaches challenged Ronald Jones. Now that he would be the guy, they said, you've got to get bigger and stronger and more consistent to take over and be the guy. And he has. He's added 10 pounds of muscle in the offseason, and that has helped him maintain himself during this long stretch of a season. 212 rushing attempts. He's averaging over 6 yards per carry. But guys, what I love about this kid, he's only gotten better as the season has gone on. In his last 4 games, 168 yards a game rushing. Ronald Jones has answered that challenge and shown his coaches that he is someone they can count on. Stanford will have their hands full with depleted defense trying to stop Rojo tonight.
I like that perspective from Horo on Rojo, as Ronald Jones was a workhorse against Stanford in week 2, had 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Proud winners of 8 of their last 9 games. Trojans won the toss, and they chose to receive.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Based on the success they had in September, a different Stanford defense. But boy, a lot of firepower on this USC offense.
Jake Bailey kicking away here, his 51st touchback on 73 kickoffs. Big leg from Bailey. And there is Sam Darnold, the redshirt sophomore from Southern Cal, 6'4", 220 pounds, comes from unbelievable pedigree. Father played ball, mom and sister played volleyball, grandfather was an all-time USC legend.
You know, when these teams played in September, USC wanted to send a message of how they were going to play, and the first 3 plays of the ball game were handoffs to Ronald Jones. They wanted to establish some physicality right away in the ball game, and they beat Stanford in that game, playing their own game, being the more physical team and running the football.
And they will get back to business with Ronald Jones, and Jones goes ahead for 12 yards. Ronald Jones with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Our impact players are brought to you by Chick-fil-A. USC equally dangerous at wide receiver. Number 80, Deontay Burnett, had 9 catches in the first game against Stanford. Harrison Phillips watched the big man all night, and safety Justin Reed leads the Pac-12 in interceptions.
First down efficiency is a huge factor in this game.
On the slant, able to get it complete to Michael Pittman.
Part of that run pass option package that USC uses. They don't do it a lot, but that line is blocking run, and it's a read for the quarterback. Very difficult to defend with all that speed on the perimeter that USC has.
2nd and 1, tackled for a loss of 1. That was Joey Alfieri, who was banged up last week against Notre Dame, making a tackle there.
That's good to see if you're a Stanford fan. Alfieri injured a shoulder. He practiced all week, but he didn't have any contact. So that's his first contact since that injury, and holding up pretty well so far. Last time they played, USC was 10 for 12 on 3rd down.
3rd and 1. And darting ahead was Jones to move the chains.
Everybody talks about 3rd down and being efficient on 3rd down, but to get to these kind of manageable situations, 3rd and short with a back like Ronald Jones, you got to be good on 1st down. And so far to start this game, Clay Helton's team is very effective in their 1st down, not only play calling, but play execution.
Remember, it was a couple years ago when Helton was named the permanent head coach for the Trojans, as Ronald Jones gets just beyond midfield. 2nd full season for Helton.
He's just brought so much stability. You know, I mean, this is a program that before he settled in, they had 5 different coaches after Pete Carroll left, and just so much turmoil and so much lack of direction. And Clay Helton has really brought stability and core values to this program, and the team has responded extremely well.
Second and 6, Darnold with time, an under route as he goes to Tyler Vaughn's. Gain of 3 there. You were mentioning everything prior to Helton, and it has been a real stabilizing force. Also, to have a guy who the players trust.
Yeah. Well,
he's been with them through a lot of turmoil prior to this run.
And I think the players recognize that he has their best interest at heart.
This is a much different program than the one that arrived here a couple years ago against Stanford in this game. 3rd and 3 now. Stephen Carr, can he make a move? Able to cut and pick up the 1st down. Spinning for something extra is Carr, as Okereke and Alfieri had their chances, but Carr goes for 9 yards.
And that was a big problem the first time these teams played, were missed tackles. If Alfieri can make this tackle, it's short of the 1st down. But excellent moves by Stephen Carr on the perimeter, and a new set of downs in the 2nd 3rd down conversion of the ball game for USC.
And there is Harrison Phillips, the aforementioned big guy in the middle for Stanford. Was a great high school wrestler, Holly.
Oh, yes, he was. He was 31-0. In fact, he was so good, his high school is named their most outstanding wrestler after him. He told me that he used to train with with a blindfold on as a wrestler so he could feel where the pressure and the entry attack was coming from. He said that feeling has helped him on the football field because he knows where people are coming from at all times. He has great body awareness, and he makes those wrestling hips and twists work.
Big guy from Omaha, Nebraska, who has been such a steady force for the Cardinal through the years.
Well, again, watch how low he stays with balance, and then he uses those hands. He gets his hands into, shed the block, and make the tackle. I mean, the amazing thing, playing in the interior of the line, he has 86 tackles, 7 sacks, and 16.5 tackles for loss. You don't see defensive tackles with those kind of plays behind the line of scrimmage very often, but that is a unique, talented athlete.
3rd down and 6. As Darnold looks over. Late clock, under 5. Oh, he turned the wrong way, left with few options and tackled for a loss. A miscommunication between Darnold and Ronald Jones.
Yeah, it looks like Darnold made the mistake. The line is blocking to the left. Ronald Jones is going that way. It just looked like Darnold made the mistake. Maybe because the play clock was running down, he got in a little bit of a rush, and he made the mistake, and it really cost him there, bringing up a 4th down situation now.
In that no man's land, with the walk-on freshman kicker Chase McGrath, they will go for it on 4th and 6. Darnold on 4th down, stumbling ahead. Can he get there? Diving ahead to move the chains.
Well, this guy can beat you in so many ways. Good coverage down the field, 4th and 6, and he finds a way to fight for 7. Does a nice job of protecting the football and then reaching it past the yard marker for the 1st down. Quick feet in the pocket, gets away from Harrison Phillips and gets the 1st down.
Quick throw to the outside. Here's Mitchell. And Mitchell weaving his way inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal, USC.
See, now this is not an easy throw either. This is from the left hash, throwing to the right sideline quickly. On the mark, on the outside shoulder, quickly, where the receiver, Mitchell, can make the first guy miss.
What did we say about USC athletes in space?
Yep.
Already showing up, isn't it?
And missed tackles, again, a problem for Stanford this time around.
Here's Jones straight ahead, diving to the 1.
This USC offensive line, not as big as they were a year ago. They had some real mammoth guys at their tackle position. They're not as big, but they are more athletic. That's why I think USC has utilized more perimeter stuff with their offense. It's a very athletic group up front of Sam Darnold.
Quick strike, quick score, Michael Pittman.
Well, they had a bunch formation. They had 2 tight ends right here, and Pittman's just going to slow off the ball and then slip to the back of the end zone. He showed block first, had patience, and then slipped to the back of the end zone, and Darnold hit him. Well executed play on the goal line by the Trojans.
Chase McGrath with the extra point. And Sam Darnold with his 25th touchdown pass of the year. 6'4", Michael Pittman to cap a 9-play drive and get the first touchdown of the night. 10th ranked USC strikes first. Touchdown pass from Sam Darnold. He was key on that drive. Had the 7-yard run on 4th and 6 that kept that drive alive.
And 3 for 3, 72 yards.
Chase McGrath handling the kickoff duties again, but Rovich had done it in recent weeks. This bounces into the hands of Scarlett. And Scarlett on the return for Stanford. It's a good one out past the 30. Rice Love, the junior from Wake Forest, North Carolina. 1,848 rushing yards. Second in the nation in rushing yards per game. Costello out of the shotgun to pass on first down, looking for a big one downfield, but well covered was Arcega-Whiteside. KJ Costello, the redshirt freshman, is the Stanford quarterback down the back stretch of this season. Big guy at 6'5", nearly 220 pounds, and went to the same high school as Carson Palmer. Broke all of Palmer's high school records. Smart guy, presidential honor roll member, and a scratch golfer as well.
And he's got that Southern California swag to him too. He's got confidence. He's got an air about him. And he has really brought a lot of enthusiasm and energy to this offense.
Here's Bryce Love. Let's go down to Holly.
Well, I checked in with Maria Taylor, who's reporting on that ACC championship game, and she said that she spoke with Malik Rozier this week, and he did not like his preparation for that Pitt game. He thought he could be better, and she said when she spoke to him last night, he had already watched 20 hours of film on his own. He'd watched the Auburn game versus Clemson 3 times, and South Carolina 2 times versus Clemson. So Malik Rozier stepping up his film study in preparation for this game.
Well, he better be with Mr. Wilkins opposite him on that defensive line. 3rd and 7 here, as Trevor Spates motions back in to flank Costello. That is complete to Irwin, who then fights to regain position, and that should be enough for a first down.
Boy, great effort at the end of that play by Irwin. I'm not sure he had the first down on the initial catch, but showed great strength. Again, one of the trademarks of this Stanford passing game are big physical receivers and tight ends. Irwin, 6'2", 200 pounds, just fought for that first down.
Just went over 1,000 career yards, did Trent Irwin. Back to basics with the I formation with Love and Marks. Bryce Love off the left side, spins for 9 yards, the Heisman hopeful.
One of the things that USC wants to do is to keep Nwosu on the backside because Bryce Love likes to cut back so many runs. That time he was in position if Bryce Love would have decided to cut back, and Bryce looked that way, saw Nwosu and said, I'm going to stay play side, and ended up turning it into a 9-yard gain.
Saw that little counter there off to the right, 134 yards away from a 2,000-yard season. We'll be tracking that all night.
That is such an incredible benchmark, too, 2,000 yards. Double A gap pressure, so they brought the fullback right up.
Play action off of it. 2nd and 1. Costello again will run to move the chains.
Well, I think the intended receiver, Irwin, got tackled in the backfield.
Flag is down.
Yeah, I think Chris Hawkins is going to get called for a penalty.
Holding. Number 8, defense. That 10-yard penalty will be forced from the end of the play. First down.
Here's Irwin working on Marshall, and as he goes in, he just, I don't know. I mean, you could make a case that Irwin initiated that contact.
I think Biggie would be happy to make that case.
That's a big cornerback. I mean, he's going against a big receiver, but Marshall is 6'1", 205. I think that one could have gone either way, actually.
Love met by Cam Smith. Ball came loose at the end there. What are they ruling?
Runner was ruled down.
They're saying the runner
That's
was
the
down.
end of the first quarter.
And that'll close out this quarter as Stanford will start the second quarter looking to tie things up. Darnold had the touchdown pass to get the night going for the Trojans here in the Pac-12 championship game. 10th-ranked USC up 7-0 as we start the second quarter. I want to bring in our rules expert, Bill Lamagnier, and go back to that last play. Bill, they said that Bryce Love was down. He was never down. Maybe forward progress was stopped, but give us your read here.
Well, he did fumble the ball before he hit the ground, so that was an incorrect ruling or announcement. Forward progress was stopped, driven back. If the referee announces that it's forward progress, replay's out of the picture totally. If they rule fumble, replay can get involved.
But the end result of what we're dealing with is correct.
The correct outcome is what happened.
So 2nd and goal for Stanford to start this second quarter.
Right side up top with single coverage right now.
Love again. Straight up the middle and straight into the end zone for Bryce Love. His 17th touchdown on the ground this year.
Boy, they put a lot on this young quarterback, KJ Costello, to make the calls at the line of scrimmage. Watch the fullback, Daniel Marks, get the kick out block. We get a double team here, and watch the fullback kick out. Bryce Love follows the pulling guard, David Bright, and that's just gap scheme power football and a touchdown for Bryce Love.
Stanford, with their 216th consecutive PAT, ties this game up. Well, you mentioned Kerryon Johnson and his health. He has been just awesome, the Auburn running back, but the concerns with his shoulder. Adebebe widening out. As Darnold looked his way, now will sprint right to extend the play and just throw it away. Holly?
That was a hard, weird hit on Darnold.
Well, guys, an important development on the offensive line for USC. They are now down to their third string right guard. Jordan Austin, number 56, has entered the game after Andrew Voorhees has been taken to the locker room. I saw 3 different medical people around Voorhees. He was complaining of some pain on the back of his neck. He did not look right, but what's important is on that last play, number 56 kind of missed his block. That allowed the pressure to get around and hit Darnold, so keep an eye on that.
We will, Holly. Austin was one of those linemen who had to step up in the game against Washington State when they were down 3 offensive linemen. We know what happened there. Quick pass this time to Pittman.
We mentioned how Sam Darnold is so effective when he gets out of the pocket. Watch as he has to leave the pocket this time. He's going to get hit by Jovan Swan. Just kind of an awkward hit. His leg was planted, got hit right on that thigh, the hip area, and got up a little bit limpy after the play.
Those are the ones that add up. And he is a big, sturdy guy. Now Lepai and Ware flanking him here on 3rd and 6 for USC. They pick up the pressure. And it was thrown to the outside. A flag does come in as Pittman was trying to stretch to the outside. That will mean Murphy can't believe it. The flag did come in there.
Holding, number 4, defense. 10-yard penalty. That's an automatic first down.
Team captain is Murphy.
Well, both teams are going to need to clean up how they're playing in the back end of their defense right now. Single coverage. I mean, that's as much on Pittman as it is on Murphy.
You can see Pittman's right hand
he
pulling down.
Initiated the hold. Wow. Interesting call so far.
Ronald Jones met after just a yard that time. Silly season is off and running. Here's an under route by Pittman on 2nd and 13. Looks to pick up the block, and he does. That was a nice job by Stephen Carr to spring Pittman. 20 yards there.
Well, the inside linebacker, Jordan Perez, is going to get hung up on the tight end. Petit, and not able to drop off on the second crossing route underneath of that, and that's Pittman. And a guy with that much speed running across the field, hard to contain. Nice job by Sam Darnold, just waiting for that route to open up in front of him.
Here's Carr. They run power. Well blocked for Stephen Carr.
Well, you got a new right guard in. What's the best thing to do? Let him double team with the tackle and run right over him. Pull the backside guard, Chris Brown, and it's blocked very well.
Carr struggled to get back to the line there. Harrison Phillips will be 3rd and short.
Again, it's just amazing watching Harrison Phillips, how many tackles he makes behind the line of scrimmage for an interior defensive lineman who gets double teamed most of the time. 3rd and short. A lot of options here for USC.
And he's going to be short that time, as Kalambayi came up with tackle on a late flag. At the end of that play.
Yeah, I think Jordan Perez was tangled up, and at the last part of that play just took a swipe at a guy, and this one's going to go against Stanford. That's the look of a guy who knows he got his hand caught in the cookie jar.
Yeah, on a third down when they make a stop.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 13, defense, his first. Half the distance to the goal line. That's an automatic first down.
This is good, solid defense. They've got him stopped short, and right there at the end, Matabebe and him are pushing, and Perez just right in front of the umpire. That's an easy call to make.
Everything is fine right there, but watch the right arm of Perez here at the end. Third penalty of this drive. 38 yards given up in penalties by Stanford here on this drive alone. 7 plays in. And inside the 10 goes Jones. Kalambayi with the tackle.
Remember last time they got down at this part of the field, they went with the run pass option play. Got the touchdown pass to Pittman. Everybody was blocking run. Ronald Jones was showing run, and they fooled the Stanford defense.
Here's Jones as he can only make his way to the 5. Harrison Phillips again.
You know, one guy we haven't mentioned that Stanford's playing without tonight, one of those line mates of Harrison Phillips, Eric Cotton, is an all-conference defensive end, was injured in the first quarter against Notre Dame a week ago. And they miss him. He was having an outstanding season. A couple guys filling in reps for him in the ball game tonight.
3rd down and 4.
Burnett right here.
Darnold looks that way, now sprints to the end zone and threw it beyond Deontay Burnett. As Jovan Swan was coming after Sam Darnold.
You know, I think Sam Darnold left the pocket before he really needed to on this play. It was a 4-man rush by Stanford and a good stop by the Cardinal defense, but I'm not so sure Sam needed to take off on that particular play.
So Chase McGrath, the freshman who was thrown into the fire this year. Remember how he responded earlier this year. Double overtime pressure kick against Texas for the win. This a 24-yard attempt. Snap was slightly off to the side, but a good job getting it down and getting it through for Chase McGrath as USC goes up 3 on Stanford. Line drive here, kick. So 10-7 USC after the McGrath field goal. Been a choppy game with the penalties, hasn't it, Todd?
It has been. And I think Stanford's going to need to try to stretch this USC defense a little bit, try to throw the ball downfield a little bit. Big bunch, heavy looking formation in right now, though.
And then this guy, Bryce Love, who they've done a good job of trying to contain. Cam Smith with another tackle, leading USC in tackles for the 2nd straight year.
Cam Smith is just a real heady player in between the hashes. I mean, he is an outstanding player. They've got other guys that are maybe a little bit better in space, but Cam Smith reads things quickly and is a very sure tackler on the inside. Another heavy look, but expect play action pass out of this 2 tight end set here.
Short pitch, Love patiently finding something, and then one final push from a friend for what should be a Stanford first down.
2 tight ends, power football. Yeah, they're just going at him. Double team at the point of attack. Good block by Dalton Schultz, the tight end, number 9. Just power football, trying to run right at this very speedy USC defense.
And Love is right back in there.
He has done this over the last 5-6 weeks. Takes himself out for a while, comes right back in.
And he's met at the line of scrimmage from Wake Forest, North Carolina. There are Chris and Angela, mom and dad to Bryce Love. Chris played college ball, was good in track and field. He's got an older brother who plays at East Carolina.
You know, when he was a senior in high school, he played a tournament game or a playoff high school football game with a dislocated shoulder. Finished the game, and the next week ran for 227 yards to get his team to the state finals. So he's used to playing with some pain.
That was deflected that time as they were trying to set up the screen. Bryce Love, who is second in Heisman polling, from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Real interesting guy, human biology major, aspires to be a pediatrician. There is his dad, who ran track at South Carolina. We mentioned his brother Chris, who's a DB at ECU. 3rd and 10 for Stanford.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, their go-to receiver, has been quiet so far. Here he is down here at the bottom of the screen working against Jack Jones. Safety coming over the top to help.
Pressure on Costello, and Wusu gets the sack. And this USC team has been doing it all year long, leading the nation in sacks.
Well, just too quick for A.T. Hall. Watch him stay low. Watch the bend in his hips. He gets that shoulder low to the ground and gets to the quarterback's legs. And the right tackle, A.T. Hall, just not able to contain that kind of athleticism on the speed rush.
Jake Bailey out to punt for Stanford. Had 3 punts down inside the 20 last week against Notre Dame. And inside the 10, fielding this is Harris.
Wow, mental mistake there.
That looked like Caden Smith down in coverage to get a Janae Harris. Fields it inside the 10 and then retreats. 50-yard punt, lost 5 trying that return. Well, that was dangerous on the return by Harris, and because of it, USC in a hole here to start this drive. As Ronald Jones trying to give him some breathing room.
First of all, the decision to do anything but fair catch this by Janae Harris was questionable. But then watch at the end, in traffic, how loose he is with the ball. He actually is going to switch hands in the middle of traffic. I mean, that could have been way more disastrous than it already is for USC. Just field position at this point.
2nd and 6 now. Darnold from his own end zone being pressured downfield as he throws it away. It'll be 3rd down coming up.
Good pressure that time. I thought Pittman had a step on his defender, but because Darnold had to leave the pocket, he wasn't able to set his feet and really launch that for Pittman. But Pittman had a step on his defender.
You know, you don't think of it with a neutral site game, a championship game, but they are backed up to the Stanford band and at Stanford student section here at Levi's Stadium. So there is a roar on that end of the stadium, facing a 3rd and 6. They have missed on their last 4 3rd down conversion attempts. Here's Darnold from the goal line, looking for more than 6 and getting it. Michael Pittman. Wow.
Watch the little jab step inside in the slot. He's going to freeze Reed with that little jab step, and then the speed to separate, and a beautiful throw by Sam Darnold. He knows he's got room on the sideline. Throw it to the outside shoulder. Beautiful touch and beautiful placement of the ball by Darnold.
40 yards on 3rd and 6, cranking it up from his own goal line as he goes to Tyler Vaughn's here on 1st down.
Pittman, 4 catches. Really playing well. 5 catches, I should say, 80 yards. Again, his emergence here down the stretch has really added to this USC offense. The balance that they want with Ronald Jones.
As Jones hits the hole, and he gets a big chunk play inside the 25.
Watch the center. Watch Nico Falla, number 74, get to the second level and get the block on the middle linebacker. 26 yards later, you see the speed and burst of Ronald Jones. The center, Nico Falla, getting to the linebacker beautifully on that play.
Moments ago, pinned facing a third down, and you blink and the USC offense is in prime position. Jones again, this time spinning just inside the 20, brought down by Colombayi.
We talked to Clay Helton yesterday and T. Martin, their offensive coordinator. They said, you know, the perfect game offensively for us, the balance is 200 yards rushing and 300 yards passing. Well, when they played Stanford earlier in the year, there's T. Martin right in the center. We'll talk about him more later tonight for sure. But when they played him the first time, they had 316 yards passing and 307 yards rushing. Can't get much more balance than that offensively.
2nd and 7. Here is Vaughns inside the 10, diving for the pylon, and score it for the Trojans.
Alameen Murphy in coverage with the missed tackle. When you've got these kind of athletes, get them the ball quickly in space and see if they can make somebody miss. And then the speed to get to the pylon. One missed tackle, and the result is a touchdown.
How about a little progressive pylon cam? Let me introduce you to Tyler Vaughn's progressive pylon cam. Big time play for a young man who is already breaking through. You are going to hear his name a lot in the coming years. As McGrath adds to the lead, Tyler Vaughn's from Sam Darnold. He was one of the top wide receiver recruits nationally of the 2016 class. And he is showing you what speed and athleticism looks like when a championship is on the line. Trojans by 10. Verke, we're going to find him for you and hope to talk to Aaron Boone, our longtime ESPN baseball analyst, who will be the next manager of the New York Yankees. He played at USC, so he's here rooting on the Trojans as you're watching the Dr. Pepper Championship Week, the Pac-12 Championship game. Stanford and USC. Pac-12 North has won all 6 of these Pac-12 championship games, but the South winner, USC, up 10 here with 3 minutes before half.
Stanford has got to be better on first down. They've had 8 plays on first down, only 22 total yards.
Pressure now on Costello as it is incomplete. He was trying to connect with Caden Smith. Holly?
Well, that highly unusual move of alternating centers for short yardage came about because of a back injury. Jesse Burkett just not able to get as low in that crouched position where you want the 4-point stance so they can fire off the ball. So Brian Chafin can do it. He taken ownership of it, and boy, they just fire off that ball. I love it. It's called the Mammoth, I believe.
Well, and it's unusual because for a quarterback, you have to adjust your stance and how long you keep your hands in there as well.
Costello able to get this complete to Caden Smith, his roommate, and that is a first down for Stanford.
Nice protection, good clean pocket that time for Costello. That's his roommate, Caden Smith, who has been a big-time receiver, kind of a go-to guy down the field here the last 4 or 5 weeks.
14-yard reception, their longest catch of the game so far tonight. Here is Spates, wrapped up. Wosu with the tackle.
Stanford with 2 timeouts left as we go under 1:30. Very important, I think, for Stanford to get points on this drive. They've got to stay within striking distance. They'll get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, but they need points on this drive.
Here's Costello. Winding up, looking downfield, and that ball is complete to Arcega-Whiteside. Stanford is knocking on the door.
USC had the right coverage. They've got the
the safety, Marvell Tell, coming over the top, but he runs by the receiver. The ball was slightly underthrown, and Arcega-Whiteside is able to stop and catch it, and the safety runs by it, and 42 yards later, Stanford is set up inside the 5-yard line. Now, are they in their goal line offense again with the new center? I think they are.
That is Chafin in there. So they go to that tight formation, and splits shoulder to shoulder.
And the quarterback has to make sure he rides the center. That means stay with the snap a little bit longer than in normal situations.
Scarlett again. And Scarlett, can they help them across the line? They're going to mark them just short.
They got to call timeout then.
They have 2 remaining, 35 seconds left before the half.
Second charge timeout, Stanford. It's a 30-second timeout.
Watch Marvell Tell, number 7, the safety. A big safety does a nice job of pushing the ball back before it crosses the plane.
Well, we're going to stick with this personnel group with Brian Chafin, who's been in that 4-point stance, trying to uncoil out of that snap. They say first touch wins in spots like this, and Chafin offers it up as big Nick Wilson is also in, and Scarlett is the back.
Look
Daniel Marks will be the fullback out of the eye. Whole lot of meat in there. 2nd and goal. Penalty flag comes in as Scarlett cross the goal line.
Offside, defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
That was big for Stanford.
Watch how low they fire off. There's the offsides. They pull the backside guard. That's Brandon Faneka, who's in there. He's not a normal starter. He's in there in this goal line package, and he is the guy that they run right behind for that touchdown.
Scarlett brings it behind Faneka at 315 pounds. The pulling guard there. The Stanford offense that took over at their own 25 with just over 3 minutes before the half. 9 plays to come down the field and to close the gap back to 3. David Shaw knows all about coming to this place and getting it done. 3 Pac-12 championships in the bag, but something a little different about this USC team with Sam Darnold and the belief they have in Clay Helton. Holly?
Well, Coach, this is your first half, getting a good look at KJ Costello, the quarterback for Stanford. How do you assess how he's hurt your team so far?
Well, had the one big play there that got him in the red zone to get it to a 1-score game. Had 2 guys right there to make a play. Just got to come up with it.
You guys have almost doubled their production offensively, but miscues, particularly penalties. How will you address that with your guys? Because you're kind of hurting yourselves at this point.
Just smart play. We got 260 yards worth of offense and 17 points in a ball possession game. So you're up at halftime. We just need to come out and do the same thing. Play a little bit cleaner offensively, penalty-wise, and keep it going.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. His star quarterback, Sam Darnold, 171 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Time to send it back to Adnan Verk in the studio. This Stanford team that knocked off 2 top 10 teams in the final weeks of the season, trailing number 10 USC by 3 at the half. Joe Tessitore and Todd Blackledge with you from Santa Clara here. Bryce Love didn't look the same to me in that first half, Todd.
No, but he's had to battle this for the last 5 or 6 weeks. We'll see how he comes out to start this 3rd quarter. He's a warrior, and his team feeds off of his toughness and his heart. But if he can't give it what they need, Scarlett has proved that he's a capable backup for sure.
Yeah, Love with 37 of those 64 rushing yards. They had to have that score,
no doubt,
before the half there. It just felt like there was some urgency, and they delivered as Costello helped manage them get down the field. Scarlett with that jumbo look and the tight set, able to get in, and they will receive the ball to start this 2nd half.
Really have to do a better job on 1st down in the 2nd half in order to stay where they want to be in this football game. Average just 2.3 yards per play in that 1st half.
Short kick from McGrath. Scarlett on the return. Well blocked out past the 35. Moments ago, Holly with Coach Shaw.
Well, Coach, your offense hasn't really gotten rolling like you'd like them to. What do you have to change to do that?
We just have to stick to the things that we're good at. We got to run the ball a little bit better. We got to pass break better. KJ's got to find a rhythm, but finding JJ down the field helps a lot.
That did solve a lot of problems. Defensively, how do you get off the field? Some penalties and mistakes.
Yeah, mistakes and then missed tackles. You know, we can't miss tackles. These are good athletes. We've got good athletes too. We got to come up and wrap them up and put them down.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And both teams combined for 9 penalties in that first half. You mentioned Arcega-Whiteside. He had the 42-yard reception. There is a guy who's number 2 in Heisman polling, Bryce Love. And Bryce Love out to the 23-yard line, tackled by Dorton.
Well, this is kind of their bread and butter power play. They kick out with the fullback. They pull the backside guard.
5-star recruit who had started 8 games before he was injured. And Bryce Love can't find anything against that defensive line. That was Brandon Peely and Rasheem Green making a wall.
And it was Nwosu who just set the edge. Here's Nwosu right here. Watch him come up and set the edge because Bryce Love likes to cut back runs so much. He's not going to allow the cutback. He forces him back in to the inside, and Peely is there to make the tackle.
Big freshman from Alaska. 3rd down and 3. Love the lone back here as now they will shift and bring Smith into that H position a little tighter to a stack. And they will give to Love, and Love is going to have to fight for it, and Cameron Smith is able to secure him about a yard short.
Bryce Love coming up hobbling at the end of that play. Didn't get the first down, and you know he's just fighting as much as he can, and you respect the heart, but he's clearly nowhere near 100% in this ball game right now.
Averaging just 3.7 yards per carry tonight. He came in at 8.6 yards per carry. Asking a lot on the quick turnaround after the Notre Dame game. Jake Bailey has been fine punting the ball, but this is a clunker for Harris. And this time it does not take a bounce, as
it was already touched by a Stanford player.
It looked like it was before Lewis came in and grazed that ball. Halfway through the 3rd, 3-point game here in Santa Clara.
Stanford running back Bryce Love playing through pain tonight, but was much more noticeable limping off after that last series. And here's the reason why. You can see on the replay, number 27 of USC makes some contact, a knee to that ankle. Right there, you can see during that tackle, Bryce came off the field very gingerly. David Shaw has said he is very honest with us. When he can't go, he tells us. We'll see if he can return.
Yeah, the key is, can he push off of the ankle? That's the big difference for him.
Here's a play action look. Darnold downfield. He wants Mitchell. Nearly intercepted by Quentin Meeks.
Ball hung up in the air a little bit, and Meeks was able to make a play on it. That's a play you got to come up with. Meeks recovers well. The receiver has a step, but the ball's underthrown. And when you get a chance to pick off Sam Darnold, you better make sure you do it. You don't know how many more times you're going to get an opportunity to make that play. Where has Deontay Burnett been? That's him in motion, has not been a factor in the game at all. Deontay Burnett, the first time these two teams played, he had 9 catches, 121 yards, and 2 incredible touchdowns. Tonight, they've targeted him twice, but 0 catches so far.
Goose eggs across the bottom there. And I'll tell you, those 2 touchdowns, the first go-round with Stanford, were incredible, including a full diving catch over the goal line. 3rd and 5, maybe a spot for Burnett here.
Nice idea, putting him in a stack formation. It's hard to get press coverage on him when you bring him in motion.
Now he motions in top side slot, number 2 receiver. 3rd and 5. Instead, out of the backfield is Jones. First man misses, as he often does. That was Casey Hill, who had no shot at Jones.
First time these teams played, missed tackles, a real problem for Stanford. David Shaw told Holly at halftime, we can't miss so many tackles. They're still missing them. And again, these guys are so dangerous on the perimeter. You have to be able to get them on the ground after the catch.
USC struggling with their alignment here on first down. If you look to the top of your screen, covered receiver, but they're running out of it anyways, as that was blown up by Harrison Phillips.
We talked a lot about Harrison Phillips in the first half. One of the goals David Shaw told us that he has, of course, the guy has tons of goals and drive. He wants to set the record at the NFL Combine for the bench press.
The 225.
They put 225 on the bar, and he wants to set the record. I think the record right now is 49 reps.
I think that was actually a Pac-12 player. I think it was the former defensive lineman from Oregon State, Paya, who nearly got to 50. But Phillips, you know, he can do just about anything. We'll see. 2nd and 10, downfield again. This time he finds him. Mitchell at the 1. 49-yard reception for Stephen Mitchell.
See, that's what I mean. When you get a chance to get an interception on an underthrown ball, you better take advantage of it. They try to run Mitchell again. Again, he runs by the defender. This time, Darnold's able to get enough on the football, and they get to completion.
And then Jones goes in. Ronald Jones, now 17 rushing touchdowns this season.
Nice block by the guard, Chris Brown, pulling in front of that play.
Well, the big catch from Mitchell, and then Jones puts it right in. When one guy is going up against the superstar, you get inspired, and Ronald Jones has outplayed Bryce Love. Now, Love's dealing with the injury, but this has been a stellar night for Rojo. 108 and the touchdown, and you have firsthand experience.
I do.
With this.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I played with a guy, Kurt Warner, at Penn State, who I saw him in back-to-back years outrush the Heisman Trophy winner in head-to-head matchups. Marcus Allen, the USC in a Fiesta Bowl, and Herschel Walker of Georgia in a Sugar Bowl, and he just had that desire to do that. And I felt when we talked to Ronald Jones yesterday, I kind of got that same sense from him.
You had that sense. You had it with Kurt Warner. Here is Scarlett on the return. And this is going to be a good return for a Stanford offense that could use good field position. You said, watch out for Ronald Jones. And you know what's interesting? 14 and 25 back then, and 14 and 25 jersey numbers tonight. But now Bryce Love, there he is, 55 yards, 3.7 per. Not the numbers we are used to for the guy who's been tracking second in the polling of official Heisman voters.
USC's defense has done a great job on first down.
Costello, ball came out there, and it is scooped up by Cameron Smith.
Well, he was in the throwing motion. It's just a matter of, was his arm coming forward when the ball came out? He was definitely trying to throw the football.
It was an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd down on the 33. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 4:37. 4:37. Thank you.
So Costello, Love, and Marks in that I formation get back to business with a 2nd and 10.
This is an I-tight formation. 2 tight ends, 2 backs. It looks like run, but they could go play action out of this.
Top of your screen is 6'7" Colby Parkinson as an option. Instead, it is Love on 2nd and 10. And how about some Love? Finally breaks a big one and ridden out by Chris Hawkins.
I mean, the heart of this guy is unbelievable. Watch the patience and the pause. Right here, a little pause, and then he jumps back to the inside for a 52-yard run. Not 100%, but tremendous effort on this play.
And Bryce Love all of a sudden is over 100 yards. He's at 107. He needs 152 to become a 2,000-yard rusher. And folks, he is hurt. But he is out there, as he has been since mid-October, dealing with the pain. Costello. Pressure comes in on Costello, as it looks like they're fighting for the ball at the bottom there. But that was a big hit from Rasheem Green.
Yeah.
Second sack tonight for USC.
Yeah,
and that'll back up Stanford.
Well, KJ Costello's got to have the clock ticking a little faster in his head, because right now USC, if they know they can rush the passer, the ball was out. Rasheem Green knocked the ball out. Costello held it too long. The ball's out, and Stanford very lucky that they were able to recover this.
You see Costello was pinned right there, and fortunately Nate Herbig, who was quite big at 339 pounds, fell on it. 2nd and 13. Love patiently looking for a hole and still churning those legs to the 11-yard line. A 7-yard run for Bryce Love.
Well, when they needed points in the first half with that critical drive, it was a 42-yard pass play that got them into scoring right before halftime. This drive, where they still need to keep pace, down 10, it was a 52-yard run by that guy, Bryce Love, mostly on guts. And they're in scoring territory again.
Watch out for that guy, Arcega-Whiteside. 6 touchdowns, big target in the red zone. Both parents played pro basketball. He goes up and gets it.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if this safety comes over the top and help. There's no other receiver on that side. There he goes.
3rd and 6 to the end zone. Did he get it? Touchdown, Caden Smith.
I think he did get the foot down. I mean, these two guys, they're roommates, and they have great chemistry. And this ball is thrown perfectly to the back of the end zone where only your guy can make the catch. Now, does he get a foot down? Right there it is. Secures the catch, 1 foot down. You cannot put the ball in a better place than KJ Costello put that one.
Absolutely perfect. Costello to Smith.
These big receivers, I mean, their passing game is just unique because of the size of the guys they have at the tight end and the wide receiver position. And they have tight ends with wide receiver skills, like you saw right there with Caden Smith. That's a big man at 6'5", 260.
The tight ends are such a valuable part of this Stanford offense. They have 11 of the 19 receiving touchdowns. Pac-12 putting on a show here. 3-point game between Stanford and USC. Now they've been motioning Burnett a lot with this look here, and then running Carr, and Carr makes the most of it. Ball is out, and Stanford's Justin Reed with the fumble recovery.
What a big hit by Alameen Murphy, number 4. He's the guy that comes up and puts his hat right on the football. This is a good run. It's got positive yards. Watch the hit right on the ball. Ball comes out cleanly, and Justin Reed falls on it for Stanford. Hit and rip.
Stanford has been consistent in doing just that. Got a good one here. Championships matter. These guys want one. Will it be Cardinal or will it be Trojans? 4th quarter is ahead.
Can they capitalize and take a lead for the first time in the ball game?
Bryce Love, 38 yards away from 2,000. Spinning for a few more inside the 30.
Do you see how patient he is? When he gets that ball, as fast as he is, he doesn't take off right away. He just kind of bounces and waits to see if there's a crease. Watch him. Wait, wait, wait. Now go. see what I can get, and then go. Just excellent patience, waiting and allowing his offensive linemen to give him a crease.
Does a good job floating with a shuffle step, ready to explode when that exists. 2nd and 6. Here he is again. And another hole and another first down for Bryce Love.
And he's hurting again at the end of the play. These low tackles, they're not intentional. Teams are not trying to hurt him, but every time he gets tackled low, this is the way he comes up off the pile.
Oh, he can barely put weight on it now.
I mean, it is unbelievable the toughness this guy's showing, but when he's tackled low around his ankles, there's nothing he can do about it. That time it was Chris Hawkins, number 4, who wrapped him up low, and Bryce Love has to come out of the game.
So Scarlett comes in. 22 personnel, 2 tights, the fullback, and this guy, Scarlett, who kept his balance and was able to get ahead to the 17-yard line as they check on Bryce Love, magnificent running back from Wake Forest, North Carolina, who has played in pain since October 14th. High ankle sprain, first injured against Oregon then.
The rushing yards almost even in the game. USC with 146, Stanford at 137 now. It is a battle of wills right now. Who can control the line of scrimmage in the 4th quarter?
And they are running Costello, and he's inside the 10, reaching out. And they are going to mark him short, but it'll be a 1st and goal for Stanford.
They put Bryce Love in as a decoy. Watch the zone read. It fools Nwosu. And then when he gets out on the perimeter, his roommate, Caden Smith, the tight end, is blocking. Instead of it being a wide receiver, it's a big body tight end. And the quarterback, Costello, able to get the ball inside the 5-yard line. Now this time when they're down there, they're keeping their normal personnel in. So their normal center, Jesse Burkett, is in there instead of Chafin.
They can't keep Bryce Love off the field, limping as he may. Love wrapped up for a loss by Chris Hawkins.
Nice job by USC. Clancy Pendergast bringing the corner off the edge. One more guy than the end guy, the tight end, could block. And they get the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. 2nd down on the goal line, a good play action down. Again, you've got these big-bodied receivers and tight ends. Irwin and Arcega-Whiteside both in the ball game. Dalton Schultz is right here.
Bryce Love down inside the 2. It'll be 3rd and goal. And look at him try to come off the field. This is a warrior. They're going to go jumbo. They're going to swap out the centers for the short yardage Brian Chafin, who's been in that 4-point stance.
And it's not just the center. I mean, when they do this, they bring in 2 or 3 other linemen and they shift guys around. It's a completely different personnel group when they go with this.
Scarlett, the back. Up, but not over.
Well, good penetration that time by USC. They were able to knock the pulling guard off his course. David Shaw wants to go for it.
A chance to tie, but the offense doesn't come off the field. It is going to be 4th and goal from the 1-yard line to try to take the lead in the Pac-12 championship game.
Look how tight the splits are on the left side.
Scarlett, no sir! Nwosu, Stonewall.
We saw Chris Hawkins make the same kind of play earlier in this possession, and now Nwosu, here he is. Watch the speed right down the line of scrimmage, and Scarlett doesn't even have a chance.
How about that? Championship on the line. Defense stands tall.
And you know, there was some question whether or not Scarlett was down on that play, but remember, David Shaw used his challenge already.
Well, as for that question, our rules expert, Bill Lamagnier. Bill, you say this was indeed Scarlett being down here.
There was a chance there, but I think the back part of his leg on that one view was down. Now, if we can get a look from here.
But if he's still on bodies, he can still reach and stretch, right?
He's still fighting. He'd get that chance to extend and reach the goal line.
Yeah, you could see that left leg, to your point, the bottom of the left leg from the ankle and above for a moment there at first is prone and flat to the ground. 2nd and 9. Darnold from the end zone over the middle. Here he goes. Michael Pittman. Big play. Trojans.
What a reaction play by Sam Darnold. He was looking to the other side of the field. Sam Darnold is looking to his right. His receiver gets knocked down, and at the last minute, he spots Pittman and hits him for a 54-yard gain. Pittman was not the intended receiver, but Sam Darnold, as he was starting to scramble up, caught him out of his eye at the last moment and hit him with the football.
Pittman has 134 yards receiving tonight. Here's the slant now as he adds more, and another first down for the men of Troy.
Boy, for the second time in the ball game, we have seen USC backed way up by their own goal line, fight their way out. And that guy, Pittman, who has been a stud for USC down the stretch here, is having a monster night. 7 targets, 7 catches. It's a pretty good percentage. I'd keep going to number 6 as well.
Off the stack release, Burnett now as he tries to pick up the block from Jones, does so and turns the corner.
The first time they've gotten the ball to Burnett. They ran that play earlier, and Darnold missed him, did not see Deontay Burnett. That time he saw him, got him the football quickly. Burnett got the block from Ronald Jones, and USC continues an impressive drive after the failed 4th down try by Stanford.
A drive that started at the 1-yard line. Ronald Jones breaks the first would-be tackle. That was Perez, and finally Colombayi is able to get to him, but not after 6 more yards.
When David Shaw went for it on 4th down with 8 minutes left, he's thinking, even if we don't get it, they've got to start on their 1, and we'll get the ball back. Well, now they're approaching 5.5 minutes, and USC is inside the 20. They've got Stanford now has to think, we have got to hold to a field goal here and not let them in the end zone.
Game that could have been tied, or Stanford could have taken the lead, and now USC doing this. Ronald Jones to the 11-yard line.
USC will use clock here as well. There's no reason for them to be in a hurry. The clock is on their side. You're in field goal range clearly. You want to try to get a touchdown to make it a 2-score game again if you can. And with a quarterback like Sam Darnold, you have a lot of confidence in calling things for him right here.
Keller Christ is warming up on the Stanford sidelines.
Keep your eye on the tight end, Imatobebe here.
Cut back by Ronald Jones to the 8-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 1 there.
We showed Keller Chris warming up. The only thing I might think about that is KJ Costello. He's been bothered. Something's wrong with his thumb. He hurt his thumb on a play when he fumbled the football.
Here's 3rd and 1. Jones, bounce, stiff arm, end zone. He's home. 14 rushing touchdowns on the season for Jones.
Watch the patience of Ron Jones. He's going to set up the block by his tight end, Imatabebe. He waits for it, and then he shows that flash and that speed. Again, a little fatigue on this Stanford defense, and Ronald Jones gets it to the end zone. What an impressive drive on their drive for a championship by the USC Trojan.
99 yards. The goal line stands, and then the big drive. And what a night for the Trojans offense. Sam Darnold, you talk about championship moments. How about staying in there in your own end zone and going all the way downfield as Pittman added to his huge night. And then Ronald Jones caps it, his second of the evening. 2017 Pac-12 championship on ESPN presented by Dr. Pepper. It has been wildly entertaining, including the 14-point swing we just saw here when David Shaw went for it on 4th and 1, stonewalled on the goal line, 99-yard drive by USC, the big pass from the end zone, the Ronald Jones touchdown, and now a 10-point lead for the Trojans. Scarlett on the return. He tries to get to the outside as a flag is down back at the 25. Holly, what of the injury to quarterback KJ Costello?
Well, guys, he has got a problem with his thumb where it meets the heel of his hand. He's been on the sidelines throwing the football. After every throw, shaking the hand, it is hurting him. He went over to Mike Bloomgren, the offensive coordinator. Bloomgren asked to see the thumb. Costello vehemently has begged to get back in this game, insisting that he's fine. But Keller Christ is warmed up. He's got his helmet on, ready to come in at a moment's notice. But keep your eye on his effectiveness throwing the ball with 4 minutes left.
And Holly, I mean, I don't care how tough you are, how much you want to be on the field. You've got to throw now. And if you can't throw 100% effectively, you shouldn't be in the game.
They only bring 4 as it's incomplete, looking underneath the Caden Smith.
Now, he looked okay throwing that ball. But, I mean, at this point, your team needs you to be able to throw the football without any problems.
Keller Chris, Ryan Burns, former starting quarterback as well over there.
You better block this guy right here, too. I mean, this is the kind of situation that he thrives in. And if you single block him too often, you might have a problem.
Wosu, that time they were able to keep him. Ball deflected and falls innocuously out the back of the end zone. It was Malik Dorton who was able to pop that up in the air.
Yeah, Malik Dorton kind of taking a page out of Nwosu's book. Nwosu does that, has done that all year. 13 deflections. Sometimes he rushes full speed. Sometimes he just reads the quarterback and jumps up and gets a deflection on the football. 3rd and 10, right in the wheelhouse for this front of the USC defense.
To stay alive, Stanford.
Wow, what
a throw to Caden Smith.
What a throw. Caden Smith a little hobbled after the end of that catch, but what a route and what a throw for the first down.
Under 4 minutes to play, trailing by 10 as they quickly get to the line.
Stanford only 1 timeout left.
Bad snap, ball is loose as they're fighting for it. And it'll be 2nd down.
Boy, I don't know what happened on this snap. This was a horrible snap by the center. The ball got about halfway to the quarterback.
Well, you know, he did the dead ball snap where you got to really snap it back there from the tip of the ball, and he just didn't.
And I think the thumb is why it was not fielded cleanly by KJ Costello. They luckily got the recovery, but it was a bad snap and a bad catch and a lucky break for Stanford.
2nd and 11 now. Nearly picked off by Cameron Smith.
Cam Smith just dropping deep into coverage. Middle safety almost. Reading the quarterback, jumped right in front of the throw. Costello didn't see him. And Cam Smith could have put an end to this one with that play.
Last time they were 3rd and long, he went 27 yards to his roommate Caden Smith. What will he do here? KJ Costello playing with that hurt right hand. Downfield and caught again. Arcega-Whiteside, Stanford in position.
They have done this ever since KJ Costello became the quarterback. Throw the ball up and give these big receivers a chance to go up and get a rebound. And that's what it's like. It's like basketball players jumping and getting rebounds on the long throws.
And remember, that's the backup, Isaiah Langley, who's in for Jack Jones.
Rasheem Green, the other pass rusher, not in the game right now.
Batted again.
Trying to set up the screen that time.
Iosefa coming in.
They quick snapped him. USC read it. You know, whenever defensive linemen realize that they're not getting blocked, they read screen. They read that quickly and got the deflection. So far on this drive, Costello 28 yards on 3rd and 10 and 45 yards on 3rd 11. So 2nd down and long right here.
To the end zone.
Oh my goodness.
Tremendous effort by Caden Smith. We got late drama in the Pac-12 championship. That was excellent.
He throws this ball right between Ajane Harris and the safety Chris Hawkins. And he throws it up high where the 6'5" tight end can go up and get it. I just am so impressed with the way they make those throws and how these big receivers go up and catch it at the high point. I mean, that is a part of their pass offense. I guess the thumb is okay.
I guess so.
Wow.
We saw Keller Chris warming up just moments ago. But Costello, as Holly said, vehemently demanding to go back in the game. And we are back to just a 3-point margin. What thumb injury? We got a championship on the line. 2:09 to play. Can the Trojans come in for a landing? Or will this put Stanford in position to strike one more time? But we've got drama unfolding here. 2:09 left and a timeout. So technically Stanford could kick away and still get the ball potentially back, as USC would be punting with 40 seconds if they were to get the stop, or this option, Todd, of the onside kick.
Not a very high percentage play ever, but that's what they're going to go for here. See if you can get the high bounce.
Very non-traditional setup of the ball by Jet Toner. He's going to look for that exotic second bounce. Here it should come. And it goes out of bounds. Bounce, hope you get a 50-50 ball on the onside kick, but now USC is sitting there at the 40. The one timeout, folks, you do the math this way when it comes to this. 40 seconds per.
Yeah.
So they'll call a timeout here after USC runs the ball, but then USC can run 2 units of 40 seconds off the clock subsequent to that.
And obviously Stanford trying to rip the football out. Stanford not electing to use the timeout on this first down play. You know, what you want to do is you can't just be careless and go to reach for the football, because you can't afford to give up a first down here. You've got to get a 3 and out. So even though you would love to create a turnover, you better tackle the back and get him on the ground before he gets to the first down mark.
And he's just short of that line as Harrison Phillips made the tackle.
Two pretty good runs.
Whether you use the timeout on the front end or the back end.
2 really good runs by USC. Credit that offensive line. Opening some holes. 179 yards rushing now for the Trojans. And all they want is another 2 yards right here.
On 3rd and short, they are 3 for 3 tonight. A first down to win a championship in front of them.
No.
Doesn't even get back to the line of scrimmage.
Now the timeout by Stanford.
With 36 seconds remaining.
Again, Harrison Phillips, the guy right in the middle of that, making the play.
Well, you know, we had a situation a few weeks ago with Clemson and NC State where you got the debate of the strategy. Do you go with the onside kick, get the chance to possess the ball, or kick away, do what the defense just did, and then get better field position when you do call the timeout and force the punt?
Yeah, you could go either way. I just think, you know, onside kicks are so unreliable. I mean, the percentages of recovering them are so slim. I think sometimes you're better off go ahead and kick it. You use the same time management strategy, but if you only need a field goal to tie, you got a chance to be closer with the football.
Of course, strategy also earlier in this 4th quarter when they were down there knocking on the door. Could have had a tie game at 24-24 with a chip shot field goal, but instead now the desperation.
Now you love special teams. What I would like to see people do also, as you see the offense still on the field. Could this be a quick kick by Sam Darnold here, potentially?
He is passing on 4th down to win a Pac-12 championship, and the Trojans will do just that. Josh Fallow.
Put the ball in the hands of your quarterback and trust him to make a good decision with the football. You get him on the edge, you give him a run-pass option, and you say, make a good decision. And he does. And a first down for the Trojans.
That man right there has a lot to be proud of. A couple years ago when he was handed the keys to this mighty power program, there were some who said, why hire him so fast like that before a Pac-12 title game? Well, there's a culture, an established culture that has reignited USC as they have fought on for victory and are the Pac-12 champions. And the first time that the South has won this championship game. Sam Darnold, 325 and 2 touchdown passes. Ronald Jones went for a $140 and 2. What a swing moment that was in the 4th quarter. The 99-yard drive. USC wins the Pac-12 championship. Oh, what a Saturday it's going to be in this grand game of ours. For now, enjoy SVP and SportsCenter.